Hello everyone, this is AndresRestart, and today we have big news. Is it the news we've been hoping for? No. But is it next best thing? Pretty much. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. The theories, the speculation, the leaks have been confirmed. This game is coming to Nintendo Switch on March 20th, 2025. And we're going to be breaking it down, talking about this game, theorizing on what's going on with it, the changes, and also discussing how this game was leaked by two different leakers, looking at these leaks and thinking about what it suggests about their credibility and what else it may imply, which also, yes, does include Nintendo Switch 2. So that's the plan today. Now, just looking at Nintendo's Twitter, you see they posted the trailer, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is coming to Nintendo Switch on March 20th, 2025, and here they say some very important stuff. Explore the mysterious planet Mira in this epic sci-fi JRPG, now with enhanced visuals and brand new story elements. So, when you look at the trailer, you're gonna see that all the character models haven't updated. The faces look very different, they look more in line with modern Xenoblade characters. I remember when Xenoblade Chronicles X came out, the biggest criticism, the main criticism was that, hey, these characters look really weird. And so now that has been addressed, that has been fixed. But also, as you're seeing right here, they're showing off Lao. I don't want to spoil anything, but that's a very important scene, and clearly they're implying that something's going on with that. And something else about Xenoblade Chronicles X, the way the game ended, it left us on a huge cliffhanger, and now, seemingly 9.5-ish years later, we're going to find out what happened. We're going to get some sort of new story elements, as they're telling us here, and that's going to help to enrich the story and hopefully satisfy or fix that cliffhanger that they left us with. And it makes sense, because this is a definitive edition. The first definitive edition we got, Xenoblade Chronicles 1, yeah, it had enhanced visuals, but also it had new story elements. They added an entire other area to explore on the Bionis shoulder. It was an entire new campaign. It wasn't a whole other game as in the size of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but it gave you another 15 to 20 hours of an experience there. And so they may be doing something very similar this time around as well. There could be another area to explore with more story elements. And the end of that trailer is definitely teasing something. If you've seen the end of Xenoblade Chronicles X, you know what I'm getting at. I'm not going to spoil it here, but yeah, there are some big stuff with that we're going to learn about. We're going to learn about the identity and the lore and what's going on with the people of Mira and also New LA. Now, something else that I'm anticipating that they're going to fix with Xenoblade Chronicles X is the font. In Xenoblade Chronicles X, the font was extremely small and hard to read, even back then when my vision was 20/20. So, yeah, I think that that's probably going to be changed. There are going to be a number of quality of life updates, just like Xenoblade Chronicles 1. They're probably going to have to adapt this game to the Switch. I mean, they will. So, there will be changes because this game was initially made with two screens in mind. They're going to have to adapt everything to one screen, but they're going to have to also find a way to make the flow better, which I imagine they will. So that's all very exciting, and this game is not that far off. It's coming out March 20th. They announced this at the end of October. It's October 29th, which, by the way, I'm just going to point out, it is my birthday. Getting the confirmation of Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition on my birthday is a nice little gift from Nintendo. It's not the Switch 2, but this is the next best thing, and I am thankful for it. Thank you. And since I am talking a little bit about me here, let me take this opportunity to ask that if you have been enjoying my content, to please subscribe and hit that notification bell. This is exciting stuff, guys. I'm so ready for this. Like, just looking at next year, even just excluding this idea of Switch 2, starting off the year with Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. That's not bad. Then in March, we get Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. And then sometime afterwards, we're getting Pokemon Legends ZA. The leaks suggest closer to the summertime. And by the leaks, I mean like the Terror leak, so it's seemingly pretty reliable there. But also, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, like, that's a hell of a year for me. Metroid, Pokemon, and Xenoblade are in my top 5 favorite Nintendo franchises, right? Like, there's Mario and Zelda, and then there's those 3, so that's exciting. Donkey Kong's not far behind either, so 2025 is actually looking pretty good now. But let's now take a look at the website, because there's some cool things there. Nothing super mind-blowing, but still some cool things. They show off the game, they show off the logo. Definitive Edition is very similar. We do see, like, I guess it's like splotched or painties. It's kind of like how they showed off the original logo with the initial teaser. I don't know if we can make much of it. Maybe you could look at it like blood, splatter, flesh. For those that play the game without spoiling, you may see where I'm getting at with that. There is definitely a human versus technology theming, so there maybe there's something to that idea. I will point out that the X, right, looks a lot like the X from Twitter. Just keep that in mind for a little bit later when we start talking about some of the leaks. But here they say the definitive edition of the open world RPG Xenoblade Chronicles X, released for the Wii U in 2015, is now available on Nintendo Switch. The story takes place on the unexplored planet Mira. After losing their Earth in a battle between alien civilizations, humanity decides to survive on this planet after wandering around and builds a new base called the New Los Angeles NLA. And here they show off some screenshots. They say they've reworked the visuals. This still looks like, I mean, it looks like a Switch game or a Wii U game, I guess. The biggest thing I've noticed are the characters. However, I do want to say, this may not be accurate. We're probably going to do a graphic comparison a little bit later this week, but I do kind of feel like the colors seem to stand out a bit more. There may be something to that. I will literally try and look at all these screenshots from the game itself and see if there's anything to that thinking there. But here it says, as you progress through the story, you'll be able to ride dolls, weapons that are useful for exploring and battling the planet Mira. Also, by clearing certain quests, you'll be able to fly the dolls, which will greatly expand your exploration range. And we see the Skell there, again in flight. Such a beautiful shot. Yeah, you can fly in this game, like literally everywhere. This is a actual open world game. The other Xenoblade games are kind of like open linear. They're broad. There's a lot you can explore. But in Xenoblade Chronicles X, you literally can explore everything. This is a huge, massive open world game. And that's pretty much all the information we have about this. There's nothing else too crazy here. Paid additional content of the Wii U version of Xenoblade Chronicles X is included from the start. There's not really any DLC from what I remember. I think they're just referring to how you had to have everything. If you had the game, you would have to make a download to have the whole game, because the game is huge. It wouldn't fit all in one disc. You need to have a hard drive, an external hard drive, even with the disc, to be able to fit the entire game so you can play it normally on Wii U. So I imagine that they've managed to rectify that issue in terms of storage space and all, and you either download the game or you buy the game in the cartridge, and that's all you need. You don't need any other additional content there, which is actually pretty important information. But let's move on to the leaks. So, in what perhaps may be a very unlikely source, Samus Hunter has made their grand return, and yeah, it looks like they were spot on. So, literally yesterday, 22 hours ago, everyone is eagerly awaiting the reveal of the Switch successor, but get ready, because before its launch, Nintendo has many more titles planned for the first console. So here they're talking about before its launch. We got one of them, Xenoblade Chronicles X. They actually provided a teaser for what game they could be referring to. Here Hugo Gaming at Astro Go 360, like what? A little teasing. Samus Hunter says this app itself is a teaser. If you look at the X for Twitter X or whatever you want to call it now, it looks a lot like the Xenoblade Chronicles X. And yep, that's what it is. They teased Xenoblade Chronicles X, and they were right. And this is interesting because they also had leaked Emio the Smiling Man earlier this year, before anyone else. I actually remember looking at this thread here and wondering, oh, this is interesting, but I don't believe them because I am not sure about their track history anymore, but Pororo had actually came into this thread and said, actually, you know, they're right. And so they were right. Famicom Detective Club, this is what the teaser was for. We now know that. And so we now have Samus Hunter being 2 of 2 for big Nintendo reveals this year. And that is extremely interesting. Now, some people might say, well, maybe they figured out the MEO thing from somewhere else. Maybe. But then they also got this, and then you might say, well, they got this from someone else. Except they point this out, like, within a day of the announcement. I think that is more than just a coincidence, but the someone else would be not Pororo. Although Pororo still has the eye emojis, I don't see how the eye emojis are relevant to this, so I still think something else is going on, but we'll see. But here, Ryan from the Bronx, who we believe to be Midori, well, they also teased back on September 4th that Xenoblade Chronicles X will be coming to Nintendo Switch, and when I look at their full post, yeah, it's coming to Switch. They're not skipping to Xenoblade 4. This port will also be made with Switch 1 hardware in mind, but will be compatible with Switch 2. Retweet and spread the word. Now, what's interesting here is that they said something else recently. Here, Michael, at Michael_Railfan. When you said made with Switch 1 hardware in mind, but also compatible with Switch 2, I'm assuming you meant it's only Switch 1, but Switch 2 just has backwards compatibility, right? And then Ryan from the Bronx says, correct. So, with Ryan from the Bronx or Midori, like, there was some concern that maybe they didn't still have their Nintendo sources, or if they were even Midori, but looking at them over the last month or so, they have been getting things right. They have been aware of things. They have been providing seemingly inside information. But now they're also showing that they do still have Nintendo sources with Xenoblade Chronicles X. So that's interesting. That means that, yeah, we can pay attention to this person. I guess we can also pay attention to Samus Hunter now, being 2 of 2 on 2 big Nintendo reveals that not really anyone was predicting, or not too many. Like, this is some big stuff. Like, yeah, we were predicting Xenoblade Chronicles X, I suppose, but we didn't think it'd be announced now. So that's really cool stuff. And so here we are. We have this trifecta of leakers. We have Samus Hunter now, we have Ryan from the Bronx, and we have Pororo. We'll be looking at them, right? But I guess the question is now, like, what does Xenoblade Chronicles X suggest for Switch 2? Does it mean we're not getting an announcement soon? I don't think that means that. I don't think it really means it either way, to be honest with you. They could still have an announcement for Switch 2, like, later today or tomorrow if they wanted. Like, they could. Are they going to? Only time's going to tell. I still feel like the Pororo eye thing is odd, right? I don't think that this is... I don't see how this is at all related to Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's just... I mean, we got a Nintendo game announcement, so maybe you want to say that this is a Nintendo game announcement, but I don't feel like the eyes ties it into at all the ukulele thing, which is directly tied to teasing a new Nintendo platform. And then the marketing manager from Nintendo of UK, like, the eye emojis does not tease Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. The eye emojis teases Switch 2. Now, did they do this to intentionally mess with us? Did they not know? I mean, Pororo also leaked Emio the Smiling Man, so I still think they have Nintendo sources. And actually, as I was finishing up the video, we did get an update from Pororo, and this is certainly interesting. So here, Miguel Pera at Crimson Kings 613 added, this is Pororo's new name, but it's still Pororo, when, with the donkey face. And Pororo responds, 1 hour ago, at 10 a.m., this was at 11 a.m., at 10 a.m., we got the announcement for this, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. So Pororo's confirming that what he was getting at was Xenoblade Chronicles X, which to me is okay. Like, the eye emojis clearly are not teasing. Like, if he was obviously messing with us is what I'm trying to say here. So I think we should, whenever Pororo does something, it does mean something, but I think he also has now shown a clear history of messing with us, right? So next time Pororo does something, I am going to temper my expectations in terms of seeing what they actually are teasing. Now, at the same time, I remember the June Direct debacle where they kind of led us to believe that it would be a light Direct, and it was not light at all. It was like one of the most amazing Directs in a long time. But they still had information, right? So it's a piece to the puzzle, what Pororo has to say. It's not the full story. But they did say add something else, though, right? So here, Silver Cats had said literally 2 scenarios. 1, a Twitter Direct with random shadow drops started. 2, it's only Xenoblade Chronicles X and no more news until November 5th or 2025. And Pororo responds, there is a little more. What is the little more? I think he's probably not teasing Switch 2, just because I wouldn't define Switch 2 as a little more. It's possible, but at this time, I do kind of think I should just adopt the wait and see approach. Technically, November 5th is my deadline for having hope for a Switch 2 reveal this year. Yeah, Team 2025 is looking pretty good right now, so we'll see what happens there. But we have Xenoblade Chronicles X. Well, that's confirmed now, and that's exciting. There will be a graphics comparison coming out soon. This is big news. This is a huge game. The beginning of next year, while it's just remasters, they are remasters I've been waiting to see on Switch for a long time, and that has me excited. But what do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.